I really want to eat at that place called I Don't Know because then I'll finally get to experience the restaurant that my wife has been talking about all these years.
Welcome to the Unapologetic Man Podcast, the only podcast that's all about self-improvement, confidence, success, women, and being a man without making any apologies for it.
What is up, gentlemen? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the UMP. I really do appreciate you. If you've been listening for a long time, you know what to do, brother. Smack yourself on the ass so hard when the concussion hits, it blows the mustache off your best friend's face. If this is your first time listening, welcome. What I try to do in this podcast is give the most actionable tips that you can deploy today. I am also the only dating coach for men that uses NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, to remap the belief system inside my clients' heads, to give them confidence, to make them feel like they're enough, and to make them stop thinking that, oh, that girl's too good for me. Bullshit, bro, Tendo. She's not too good for you. Is she working on herself? Is she investing in herself? Is she listening to podcasts like this one? Probably not, especially if she's really fine. Fine girls don't really work on themselves. And I was talking to my fine friend Lindsay the other day, and she literally said, boys, I just want guys to be able to read my mind. This is what chicks say, dude. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are laughing right now because some of these chicks are so fucking entitled. They expect such unrealistic things from us men that oftentimes we feel like we can never satisfy them. But I'm your Uncle Mark saying, and I'm here to teach you how to read women's minds. And it's not necessarily reading their minds. It's just getting your head out of your ass, realizing you have one mouth and two ears for a reason, you idiot, and you just listen to her, you fucking moron. All you have to do is pick up little pieces of evidence like you're a detective, and then you roll it out to her in a way where she thinks you did read her mind. Before I jump into the content, I want to read yet another glowing testimonial for my 3-month coaching program. This literally came in an hour ago from Devin, and I have freaking screenshots on my desktop of review after review after review because this shit works. And this is a quick review from my boy Devin, and then we're going to jump into the content. He says, hi, Mark. I'm only 3 weeks into the NLP and have to say this is one of the best investments I've ever made. You can't go wrong when you do the work and invest in yourself right. I totally agree, Devin. You're an absolute champion. You're 3 weeks in. Just wait until you're 12 weeks through the program. I make you guys, when you join the program, a custom 12-week NLP protocol made specifically for you. All my best processes, all my best techniques, strategies, and NLP secrets to remove and replace belief systems that have been holding you back for years. Devin's been in it for 3 weeks and he's already like, dude, this is the best investment I've ever made. What could I do for you? That's what I want you to think about. Do you have thoughts? I'm not enough. That girl's too good for me. You shouldn't talk to people. Don't rock the boat. I'm too short, too fat, too bald, look like a chicken McNugget with tits, or a turnip standing vertically with a penis on it, or a potato with a bathing suit on it. How do you view yourself? That's how women are going to view you. My job is to make you feel like a bona fide 10, a girl magnet, the prize, thinking she's the one submitting the application. And that's what I do in my program. If you're interested, let's have a conversation. Sign up by clicking the link below. You and I will talk and see if we can help you. All right, gentlemen. So yeah, women want you to read their minds. They just want you to know what to do. They want you to know what to say. They want you to know when to hold their hand, when to kiss them, when to take off their bra, when to lick their clam chop, and when to have sex with them. They just want you to know. Now, obviously, as men, this is extremely frustrating because a lot of you guys are knuckle dragging idiots who are so dense, you should be listed on the periodic table as a metallic element. Literally just thought of that one. But guys, a lot of you are just thick-headed. You're not picking up on women's signs, which in women's perspective, they are giving you clear and obvious signs, starting with green lights that they give you to go open them. Gentlemen, if a woman is looking at you more than one time and holding eye contact and or checking you out for more than, I'd say, half a second, she probably wants you to come open her. A girl who doesn't want you to open her is not going to look at you for more than a millisecond. She's going to look at you, assess whether or not she feels you're attractive via your mannerisms, your body language, how you hold yourself, and yes, a little bit how you present yourself as far as hygiene and how you dress. But if she wants you to open her, she's going to leer at you a little bit. And God bless America, if she looks at you more than once, you moron, go open that girl. Go talk to her. She's giving you the green light. When you're speaking to her, you need to look for obvious signs of how she's interacting with the conversation. Are her arms crossed, creating a barrier between you and her? Is she slightly leaning away from you? Is perhaps her shoulder pointed at you with her body language turned away from you? Or is she facing you directly? Her toes are facing you. She's leaning in. She's laughing at jokes that aren't funny. She's asking you questions. She's basically involved in the conversation. The difference between the two allows you to read her mind, quote unquote, and know what she wants from you. If she's showing a lot of interest in the way I just explained, then she probably wants you to ask for her phone number and or at least continue the conversation. If, on the other hand, she's really standoffish, her body language is kind of turned, she says something like, I have a boyfriend, guys, read the signs. She doesn't want you to grab her number. She's probably not that interested in you, so it's best you just move on. When it comes to a woman telling you she has a boyfriend, that to me is just like not interested. Whether or not the boyfriend is true doesn't really matter. Just abort, bro. There are millions of girls out there. If you miss this bus, you'll just take the next one. So why are we dwelling on girls and trying to use such things as the boyfriend destroyer, which is so stupid. I don't even use it anymore. But the boyfriend destroyer is what's it like to be in the perfect relationship? Or, which I've said a couple of times, which is so stupid, you can drop the zero and step up to the hero, but let's go ahead and see if we actually jive first. So anyway, and then you blow past it. But honestly, you should pick up the signs. If she's not interested, she's not interested. Now, obviously, you can do what I call pig dogging, which is just punch through it, keep talking to her, and sometimes break girls out of that quote unquote bitch shield that we call it. But most of the time, she's giving you signs. You should just read them. Just pay attention. Just tell yourself, how's this girl reacting to me? Do I feel she's enjoying this conversation? Does it feel like she wants the conversation to continue? Is she open and receptive to my advances? Does she perhaps want me to take her phone number? These are very basic questions that will make you into a quote unquote mind reader. You're not really a mind reader. You're just looking out for the signs. And the signs are very obvious, especially when I speak to women and they're like, dude, I give guys the most obvious signs. To guys, it's not that obvious. Girls have to go over the top obvious. But here's the thing I want you to do. I want you to get so good at reading women that you can tell the very subtle things that they want and give it to them. And they're going to be like, oh my God, this guy read my mind. Or better yet, this is fate. This is serendipitous. We just get along and he just understands me just by happenstance. And yeah, it feels like he can read my mind. That's what we want girls to experience. We don't want to look try hard. We want to look serendipitous, meaning it just happened. It's just faith. You and I just jive somehow. Even though, dude, you've been Facebook stalking her, you've been fucking looking at her Instagram, you've been paying attention to every single word she says so you can roll it out later and look like that mind reader. As I just said that, I want to give you a quick caveat. As we are practicing reading the minds of women, we have to be very careful not to look try hard or needy or look like we want more than she actually wants. If you're Facebook stalking her and you saw that she bought a plant 3 months ago for her room and you show up to her office with another plant that matches it and be like, oh, I saw the plant on your Facebook page from 3 months ago and I just wanted to get you another one to match it because, two is always better than one. Here you go, Amy. She's going to be like, creepy. This guy's stalker, Texas Ranger. I'm going to break up with him. So obviously, guys, you have to be careful not to look too try hard. But the basic point of this episode is pay attention. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Listen to what she says. In the first conversation, perhaps you pick up a little nugget of information where she says, I really like sushi. So you're like, okay, I'm going to tuck that away in the file system. And the next time we go out to dinner, I'm going to be like, hey, we're going to a sushi restaurant. Not even referring back to the fact that she said she likes sushi. And this is the way to play it. You pretend like you didn't even remember that she said it. You pretend that you weren't being try hard and investigating her Instagram photos, trying to pick up these little clues about her. You instead just act as if, oh, I love sushi too. I was just going to take you to sushi. And then in her mind, it's like this serendipitous thing where you guys are just meant to be. And or she's like, man, this guy just knows me. He can just read my mind. Going back to my previous episode, she wants you to feel like you kind of know her, you understand her, you have a knowing about her, and you do that by investigative reporting. You simply pay attention. Get out of your own head, pay attention to her, look her up and down, see what she's into, listen to her words. Yeah, you can jump on her social media accounts if you're really feeling it. Be careful. You don't want to look needy, try hard, or like a stalker, but you simply pay attention. Now, a funny technique that I've used several times with girls when we're going out to dinner, and this goes back to my joke at the beginning of the episode, is you get in the car with the girl and you're like, all right, we're going out to dinner right now. Guess where we're going? And you're not going anywhere. You're just having her tell you where she wants to go. And she's like, I don't know. And you're like, come on now, guess. And she's like, Chiba Hut? And you're like, oh my God, you just read my mind. We are literally going to Chiba Hut. Meanwhile, you had no idea where you guys were going to go. You asked her what she wanted to do, and then you said, yes, that's the place we're going. Chiba Hut, I don't know if you have them in your state, but it's like this marijuana-inspired sandwich shop. Brothers, they have, in my opinion, the best freaking sandwiches I've ever tasted. The place is so good. Marijuana smokers know how to make damn good food. I'll tell you what, get the meatball sub. Oh my hell, that thing is ecstasy in your mouth. So good. So as you guys are dating, you're observing certain things about her, and more importantly, picking up on the inevitable clues that they will give you. For example, a lot of women like to have flowers bought for them. Now, oftentimes, guys will not pick up on the clues. They won't do anything nice for her in that respect, and then she gets resentful towards them. And if she needs to get to the point where she has to tell you, hey, it's really important to me that you buy me flowers, that you do nice things for me. That's how I feel that you appreciate me, and it's really important. If she has to tell you that, it kind of doesn't look good, because then what do you do as a guy? She just told you she wants you to buy her flowers. What do you do? Go buy her flowers? Now that looks try hard, kind of looks like she ordered you to do it. You don't want to let it get to that point. You also have to be careful not to look too try hard, not to give her more than what she's giving you, going back to my 80-100 rule. So while you're observing what she likes, while you're observing her love language, as it were, does she like acts of service? Does she like to be listened to? Does she like to be cuddled with? Is sex the way she bonds with you? While you're listening to her love language, you're also paying attention to that all-important 80-100 rule. And I know right now, a lot of you guys are like, fuck, dude, this is a lot of work, bro. I'm just going to go hire a prostitute. Hey, if that's what you want to do, go ahead. But this is probably one of the most complicated things I'll ever teach you. Most of seducing women is pretty damn easy. So just pay attention, put your thinking cap on. And as I said 3 times already, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Stop thinking, bro. Just listen to me. Okay, so as long as you're sticking within the 80-100 rule, which dictates you only give her 80% of the 100% she's giving you. So for example, she gives you 2 compliments, you could throw a compliment at her. She does something nice for you, you can get her flowers, provided it's not too try hard. But you're listening all the time. You're paying attention all the time. With Marissa, I'm always just kind of listening for that little hint. And then like 5 days later, I'll do something that relates back to that hint. And she'll be like, God, you know me so well. And that's what she says all the time. She's like, you just understand me. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm a detective. I literally take notes, boys, on the things that she says, the things that she likes. Another thing you can do is mirror her language back to her, which makes her feel like you guys are in rapport. If she says awesome all the time, you should add that to your vocabulary. If she tends, for example, to get into a bad mood in the morning, you could be like, okay, she gets in a bad mood in the morning. She really likes coffee. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to make her breakfast in bed. Again, boys, whoa, hold your horses. Do not be too try hard. This is reading her, staying within the 80-100 rule, giving her something after she has obviously given you stuff, shown interest in you, all within that rule. But what you do is you figure out things to surprise her, figure out things to make her happy. As my coach Taylin used to say, give her a world-class experience. How do you give somebody a world-class experience? By knowing what they want, by reading the signs, by taking the hints and executing before they actually have to ask you to execute. And this wraps up and summarizes what I talked about in my previous episode about don't ask girls questions, make statements. When you make statements, she feels you just know her. And that's the serendipitous kind of vibe that we want to portray when we're dealing with women. We want women to think, oh, this is just fate. It just happened so perfectly. I don't have to try with him. He just understands me. Meanwhile, you're a knuckle dragging gorilla who doesn't even understand how to spell his own last name, but at least you're listening to her and deploying this mind reading tactic of knowing how she is by observing her. It's very fucking simple, boys. People are not that complicated. What are they motivated by? Their desires. What are they afraid of? Their aversions. So desire and aversion. Let me see if I can figure this girl out. She desires a lot of attention. In the case of my friend Lindsay, she really desires not to have to work all the time. She wishes she could retire. She desires attention from me because that's her quote unquote love language. I've observed that. She desires metaphysical stories, many of which I've shared with you guys on this podcast. She likes to be teased, so I'm going to tease her more, but she doesn't like intrigue. She doesn't like it when I kind of leave her hanging or I say, oh, you don't want to know, or I try to be mysterious. That kind of irritates her, so I'm going to avoid that. It's very simple, boys. This is how psychics do it, alluding back to my previous episode. They tell you what you want to hear. They make statements about you simply by you walking into the room, the way you're dressed, the way your shoes are, the kind of watch you're wearing, the way your hair is, the way you either work out or you look like a chicken McNugget with tits and you don't work out. I can tell a lot about you. And I could easily make assumptions about you based on what I see, thus seemingly reading your mind. So the entire point of this episode and also the last episode, which again, you should really listen to if you haven't, is to simply observe her, listen to her, pay attention. Because a lot of us are so unbelievably thick-headed, we don't even know what the hell is going on. So yes, women want you to read their minds, as my friend Lindsay said, and it was funny. I smacked her on the head and I'm like, you're a dum-dum. How do you expect guys to read your mind? And she's like, stop it, right? I was just fucking with her. But literally, boys, I could pay attention to Lindsay and know a lot about her. I could probably predict what she's thinking. Just based on the situation, what I know about her, I'm like, hey, you're kind of not pumped right now with what's going on, huh? That guy, I bet you anything, that guy right there is irritating you, huh? She's like, how do you know that? And I'm like, I don't know. I just kind of get a feeling about you. But meanwhile, I've just kind of observed how she is. I've heard what she said in the past about how those kind of people irritate her. It's the morning time where she happens to be grumpy. It's all about being a detective, boys. And this could be really fun if you make it into a game. How much can I observe about this person and how much can I tell them about themselves and shock them simply by the way of observation, paying attention, picking up the clues, making assumptions, doing cold reading, as I talked about in my previous episode, and being the dude who executes when she wants you to execute. This is why I always say women are the barometer for your escalations. Kiss her when she wants you to kiss her. Have sex with her when she's ready. Only ask her to be your girlfriend when she's ready for it. You have to lead women to where they want to be led by observing them. And that's the point of today's episode. I hope you got something out of it. As I talked about, gentlemen, at the top of the show, I have a 3-month coaching program where we use NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, to remap your brain. I am the only dating coach who uses this level of sophistication to deal with the inner bullshit, which is the biggest reason some of you aren't pulling the girls that you want to be pulling. It's all inside your head. I guarantee it. I'll give you my entire business if you can convince me otherwise, that the reason you're struggling with women, maybe the reason you're not getting the girls that you want to get, isn't because it's all in your head, but because you're too short, fat, ugly, bald, look like a turnip standing vertically with a penis on it. Bullshit. It's how you think about yourself, because the way you think about yourself is the way women are going to think about you too, and their attraction is based on it. If you want to talk to us about my program, just a conversation, no commitments necessary other than being 10 out of 10 committed to getting better with women, not 10 out of 10 committed to me, just 10 out of 10 committed to getting better with women and replying to my damn emails within 24 hours. If a guy can't reply to an email in 24 hours, he obviously lacks the initiative to get girls in my program. So just be a trigger puller, apply, let's talk. If it's good fit, fine. If not, we part ways as friends. And I always give my guys a few extra bonuses when they do apply and it doesn't work out because I try to be a go-giver. Gentlemen, I do appreciate you listening. As a reminder, I drop podcasts on Mondays and Thursdays. Show up for Thursday's podcast. It's going to be a banger, and I will see you in the next episode.